Hey, thanks for coming to 1500ESPN.com. I'm Derek Wetmore, and I'm going to share with you my 5 thoughts from Saturday's Twins game. Loss to the Milwaukee Brewers. The Twins now lose a series. They'll look to win the game Sunday to salvage a game from this 3-game series with the Brew Crew. Let's get started with thought number 1. J.R. Graham made a spot start for the Twins, who were using a bullpen game. Basically, they didn't have a starting pitcher who was ready to make the start on regular rest. Mike Pelfrey might have been the best candidate, but he would have been pitching on short rest, and so the Twins instead, rather than calling somebody up, decided to just turn this game over to the bullpen and see that if the relievers could get all the way through it. Graham pitched all right. I mean, 4 innings. He was in the mid-60s for his pitches. He only gave up 1 run, and that was a solo home run to Ryan Braun, who is back in the lineup. More on him in a minute. And you know, for the sort of, I would say, reduced expectations, that's my word, not the Twins' word, but you're not expecting J.R. Graham to suddenly jump up and grab a starting role after kind of being hidden for a little while in the bullpen. So considering the circumstances, considering the expectations, I thought J.R. Graham did all right. The Twins did have to use 5 relievers on Saturday, but it's not like they burned the bullpen. I mean, Brian Dunsing's still available. You still got Casey Fiend. You've got Glenn Perkins. I asked Paul Molitor after the game if they might need to make a roster move just to get some fresh arms, and he said he didn't think so, and I tend to agree. I think they could probably be okay, considering Mike Pelfrey's pitching Sunday, and recently anyways, he's been pitching deep into games. So the Twins on their bullpen day, the main goal is to protect the bullpen and try and come out with a win. They accomplished objective number 1, even if they didn't accomplish objective number 2. Thought number 2, I said more would be coming on Ryan Braun, and here it is. He returned to the lineup after missing 2 days after a thumb procedure. His right thumb was giving him trouble. He had an off-season procedure to try and calm that, to try and fix that, and he had another procedure earlier this week, reportedly, that was designed to maintain some of the things that he had this off-season, and he was back. No worse for the wear. His first plate appearance on the day, he took J.R. Graham deep out to center field. It was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, but as I've said many times on these 5 Thoughts videos, Major League hitters get around on 96. It depends on the movement, and it depends where you put it. If you don't get it where you want it, there's a lot of guys in this league who can turn on a fastball, even if it's mid to upper 90s. And Ryan Braun showed that, hit it out to that grass berm, which you can just barely see in the background out behind me here. It's just in front of that batter's eyes where Ryan Braun deposited that one. Gave the Brewers an early 1-0 lead with his home run. Made his presence known early in his return to the lineup. Thought number 3, I'll touch more on Carlos Gomez in a minute, but there was one play that stuck out to me on the bases, and it's because of some heads-up thinking by the Twins. Gomez had gotten on board, and then there was a single to right, and Gomez is kind of rounding second base as if he were going to go to third. I mean, of course, he's not going to go to third because Eddie Rosario is coming up with the ball, and he would have thrown Gomez out by 30 feet at third base. But Gomez made a hard turn. He went probably a little bit farther than he should have on the round. Danny Santana, seeing that, breaks to second base bag. He starts sprinting the bag to try and beat Gomez there. Rosario throws the ball basically in the area of second base, trusting that Santana was going to get back there. Santana grabs it, and not even all the way back to the base yet, but running kind of shoulder to shoulder with Gomez, applies the tag. Basically, the Twins get an extra out on the bases that they shouldn't have had. It should have been first and second, and I believe nobody out. And what ended up happening was they picked up that out because of some heads-up alert fielding, not only by Danny Santana to get back there, but also Eddie Rosario to make that throw behind the runner, not be intimidated just because Gomez has wheels. That's the kind of heads-up play that I think probably stands out for a manager like Paul Molitor, that he sees some of those things going on in the field, and that's kind of the expectation around here now, that you, as a fielder, are expected to make those plays. As a base runner, you're expected to see those things. Kind of those extra outs. Pick them up here and there and on the bases. Try and pick up extra bases and avoid those extra outs. That's sort of been, from my perspective anyway, that's been one of Molitor's stamps on the team this year. And one of the underrated reasons maybe why they're winning more games than, frankly, than I expected them to this season. I think than anybody maybe expected them to. Those kinds of plays maybe don't stand out quite as much in a loss, but they're the kinds of thing that over the course of a season, you see them, they add up. I do really think they make a meaningful difference in terms of runs scored, runs prevented, and, of course, ultimately, wins and losses. Thought number 4, the Twins wasted a prime scoring opportunity. That was in the 5th inning after Torrey Hunter had singled, Eddie Rosario singled, and then Chris Herman dropped down what was supposed to be a sacrifice bunt. He ends up getting on base because Matt Garza couldn't field the play. Bases loaded, nobody out. You expect to get a run, 2 runs in a situation like that, and the Twins couldn't do it. Aaron Hicks popped out, and then Danny Santana, who's been scuffling, he worked a 10-pitch at bat, and it was a good plate appearance for Santana. But then a very rare thing happened. Santana grounded into a double play. A guy with his speed, you don't expect to see that inning-ending double play come up. In fact, entering Saturday's game, Santana had grounded into just 5 double plays in his Twins career. That now includes more than 600 plate appearances. So a very rare occurrence for Santana, and it came at a pretty bad time for the Twins, who could have used a run or 2 runs there in that inning. Final thought number 5, it is on Carlos "Go-Go" Gomez, the former Twin. Came over from the Mets organization, obviously, in the Johan Santana trade. Tons of talent, also makes a lot of head-scratching plays. I mentioned the one where he got picked off at second base. There was a couple of other plays in that game, but he went 4 for 4 with a walk, 3 runs driven in, a big hit off Blaine Boyer on a slider, basically on his shoes that he just went and golfed out to the outfield gap, drove in a pair of runs that ended up being the difference. Gomez with a great game. He shows off his talent every time, but he also missed a cutoff man at second base. He got caught too far off the bag when Dozier caught a line drive in the first inning, ended up doubling Gomez off of second base because he'd reacted toward third. Anyway, couple head-scratching plays, couple things that showed his talent. That's kind of the Jekyll and Hyde of Carlos Gomez. We've seen that for years. He'll still do it. Very, very talented player. A lot of fun to watch. You can tell he enjoys playing the game. I mean, just the way he plays it. He bat flipped on Friday night what ended up being a double. So kind of one of those goofy players. He does some things that not every player is going to do. He can get away with it. He has the talent, and he was a real menace to the Twins on Saturday. The biggest reason why the Brewers won that game. That'll do it for this 5 Thoughts column. I'll be back with you on Sunday. And check out the Touch 'Em All podcast. Phil Mackey and I are recording another episode Sunday night. I'd recommend that you go to iTunes right now and subscribe to that podcast. If you like any of this baseball chatter, you'll get it this times 2, even more than that. Phil Mackey brings an awful lot to that podcast, and it's just kind of a fun half-hour, 45-minute baseball conversation on the Twins, who frankly are surprising everybody this season. They're one of the better stories in the American League, and we break down all kinds of things, try to look behind the scenes, look behind the numbers. It's just a fun conversation on the Twins. So subscribe to the Touch 'Em All podcast on iTunes, and appreciate you coming to watch these videos on 1500ESPN.com. Until next time, I'm Derek Wetmore. Thank you for watching.